Hey, it's Tina Forsyth here. So I want to talk today about certification and licensing programs and whether or not you should create one. Actually, what I want to share with you today are 3 reasons not to create a certification or a licensing program. It seems like there's just a lot of buzz right now in this model. There's a lot of people coming out with certifications and licensing and all kinds of things. Lots of people are popping up and asking me questions about, Tina, should I do this? I think I'm going to do it, etc. Now, here's the thing. I love the certification licensing model. I've run a certification program now for over 6 years. I train and mentor other people to do the same. I love it. It's one of my 2 favorite revenue streams, my 2 favorite business models out there. But the fact of the matter is, it is flat out not for everyone. It's really not. And when people come and ask me about a certification and if they should create one for themselves, I will always talk them out of it before I'll ever talk them into it. And here's what I mean by that. I want to share with you today 3 reasons why I do that. Now, first and foremost, the number 1 reason that I'll talk people out of it is you need to have proven your success in a really solid level before you go out and try to certify people in what you've created. You know, I like to say my rule of thumb, and of course you can disagree with me on this, but my rule of thumb is you need to have done what you do successfully for at least 3 years before you turn around and try to license or certify other people to do the same thing. And of course, I'm assuming too that you have a proprietary system. So you can't certify people in something that you learned from someone else. You know, that's out of integrity. You can't certify people in something that you yourself have not been successful with yet. If you have not created a solid, good income, a good living from what it is you want to certify other people in or what you want to license them in, then now is not the time. Your first step is to go out and prove the business model for yourself. A certification at the heart of it is basically going to someone and saying, all right, here's the scoop. I've created something. I've been successful myself with it. I want to give you what I've created. I want to certify you or I want to license you to take and use what I've created so that you too can be successful with it. That's ultimately what a certification and licensing program is. So if you haven't been successful yet with the piece that you're thinking about or what you're wanting to certify or license people in, that's great. You maybe will do it down the road. But first, you need to create your own success. You need to prove the business model for yourself first. Now, the second reason that I will talk people out of a certification model is that there is a boatload of responsibility here. This is not just, not to say that we don't care about the results from our other training programs and things like that, but when you offer somebody a certification or a license, you're basically saying to them, you're basically putting them out there and saying, all right, world, here's somebody that I've put my rubber stamp of approval on. You're basically, other people out there would look at the certification and say, oh, hey, because this person is certified by you, they must be good at what they do. So I'm going to work with that person. Now, here's the thing. What if they're not that good? What if they don't do great work? What if your certification program isn't actually setting them up for success yet? What if the training isn't enough? What if the certification process itself is not enough to let you see whether or not they're truly ready to go out and have that official certification status from you? This is something you cannot take lightly. You really cannot take lightly, because this could ultimately ruin your reputation if you're not purposeful and clear here. It's one of the reasons I say you can't just jump in to a certification model and make it up as you go. It's actually one of the models where you have to be really purposeful and think everything out ahead of time before you start working with people, before you put it out there. Because at the end of the day, anyone that you certify or anyone that you license becomes an extension of you, ultimately. And this is something that, quite honestly, I had to think pretty solidly about it. When I started my certification years ago, my first certification program, it was probably the piece that gave me the most amount of pause. I was like, okay, am I really ready to do this? Do I really want to do this? Do I really want to certify and mentor and train these online business managers? And what if I do and they don't do great work and so on? And I'm not going to say I haven't learned some hard lessons over the years. We have. That's part of what I like to teach and share with people when I'm working with them, so they can hopefully avoid some of that stuff. But the fact of the matter is, we have to be really ready and real. Sometimes I talk to people and they're like, I just don't want to do it. I don't want to take on that responsibility. Sounds like too much. Forget it. Not willing to go there. Okay, great. You don't have to. You don't have to. Now, last but not least, the third reason why you may not want to create your certification is you may be creating your own competition. The best time to create a certification or licensing or to license something is when you are no longer actively doing it yourself. So let me give you an example here. Let's say you're a coach and you have a proprietary system that you use with your clients and you run coaching programs or do events and things like that, groups, etc. You've done it for years, you're successful, you know it works. Great. And here's a common thing that people will come to me with. Maybe not common, but every once in a while, is where they look around and say, hey, other people are taking my stuff and using it. And I don't like that. So I think I want to create a certification or licensing program so that they can pay me to take my stuff and use it. But here's the thing, that's not a good reason. People taking your stuff and using it is more of a copyright and or legal reason as far as agreements and such with your programs as to whether or not they can do that. But that's not a good enough reason to license somebody or to create a certification for somebody. If you go out, if you are still offering the thing that you're going to certify other people to do, then what you're doing is ultimately creating your own competition. And if you want to continue to do what you're doing right now, then it may not be the best move for you. Now, there might be a case where sometimes certification complements what you're going to do or continue to do. Maybe you do a certain level of work and you're going to certify people to do another piece of it, something like that. Or maybe you're just flat out done and you're not going to do it anymore. That's definitely the space where certification can really serve you. You know, when I started my OBM certification, it was because I was no longer going to work as an online business manager. I was very clear on that. So I was more than happy to train and mentor and certify other people to go out and do the work that I had been doing. Now, it's not that competition is a be-all, end-all. You know, you might be okay with the fact that other people are out there doing what you do. And in some cases, it might make sense. But you really want to think that part through, too. Because I've seen people get in trouble there. Where it's like, all right, I'm going to create a certification, woohoo! And then here they are 6 months, a year or two later going, wait a minute. All these other people are out there now delivering and offering the exact same thing that I deliver and offer, and people may not want to come work with me anymore because now they're going to go work with them. That can be a bit of an icky, iffy situation. So just an example of 3 aspects of this that I want you to be really purposeful with and think through. I'm going to do a call on this, actually. I was thinking about it earlier today. Just kind of a casual get together, or let's have a bit more of a conversation, talk a bit more about this whole certification thing. I want to actually be able to have some time to speak with some of you who are considering certification. Should I do it or not? Let's talk through some of what's going on for you. Maybe you have a certification and it's not working out for some reason. On May the 8th, on Friday, May the 8th, so just a week from today, if you're watching this video on the day I'm sending it out, I'm going to do a little bit of a, I guess you could call it a fireside chat, although it's spring. I don't know if we need fireside chat right now, but just a little bit of an informal gathering, if you will. I'll share a little bit more of details of a certification program, give you a bit more framework around that and what it is and isn't in that regard. But mostly what I want to do in that time together is hear from you. Any questions, any comments, any concerns, because I do not want to see people going down this road if it's not a fit. If it is a fit for you, heck yeah, 2 thumbs up, green lights all the way, because I'm all for it. Again, I've done this model myself for 6 years, love it. It's one of my favorite things. It's one of the favorite things that I do in my business. And if it is not the model for you, please, please don't go down the road. Or if it's not the model for you now, just be aware of that. Know that it may be coming down the road. If I can stop you from going down a path that's not going to serve you, then I feel like I've done my job in that regard. So if you want to join me for that call on May the 8th, or if it's after the fact, I'm sure you'll be able to access the recording. Just go ahead, information with this video. I know there'll be a link alongside here for you to go ahead and grab a spot for that call. We'll send you all the information then. And I'd love to hear from you. What your thoughts are, are you thinking certification? Are you not? Have you tried it? Has it been good? Has it not been good? Are you just flat out like, no thanks, not my thing? Would love to hear any thoughts or comments that come up for you here. So definitely a bit of a longer video than usual, but one of my favorite things to talk about. So I hope you, if you're listening to me now, you've bared with me throughout the journey here, and I can't wait to connect again in the future. Take care, everybody. Bye now.